All right. Welcome to the 10th Books and Art from Japan live show. I'm Brandon Shin. We're going to get into some books and some art from Japan. Now, the books that I speak about are the books that I write, like this, Shokuni Universe. All available on brandonshin.net. And the art that I offer includes no mask like this. So I'm live on YouTube and live on Instagram right now. If you want any of that stuff, brandonshin.net. But as always, I want to start off with a little story. My favorite Japanese artist, the Blue Herb. The Blue Herb. This is a very popular Hokkaido-based hip-hop group made up of 3 members, but the main person you gotta know, his name is the Boss. Boss. The bald rapper guy. Welcome, AJ Word Artist, to the show. Here talking about my favorite Japanese hip-hop group, the Blue Herb. The main guy, bald guy, calls himself the Boss. If you played Metal Gear Solid, you would know what's up. As you can see, lyrics, dance, all in Japanese, of course. But I first heard this guy back in, let's see, I was probably on my 3rd or maybe 4th trip to Japan, let's say 2015-ish, living in Kyoto, living in a small apartment with my ex from Hokkaido. And actually, I went to Hokkaido the first time 2013. And I think it was at that time that I was searching for different Japanese artists that I could listen to up my Japanese language skills. That is when I found the Blue Herb. I highly recommend you check them out on YouTube. And what is their sound? It's obviously straight hip-hop, but lyrical, storytelling type of hip-hop. Not just, oh, sounds good. Hey. What is the fuck? I forget the most recent genre that is super popular right now. Obviously not mumble rap, but it's, what do you even call that type of hip hop right now? It's like, I guess Little Yachty is not in that. Actually, I should ask, AJ Word Artist, are you a musician? Are you a poet? Are you a performer? This hip hop, much different than you would expect. A lot of the Japanese hip hop is simply copying and mimicking trends from the US, because hip hop was born in the US, and if you don't know, I'm Jamaican. It's said that Jamaicans originated hip hop. Hip hop came from Jamaican DJ culture, where the MC or the DJ would stop and speak over the track, and etc., etc. And so I respect lyricists, and the Blue Herb is a group that highly respects depth in lyrics. And This is just a little anthology of all of the different CDs and albums that they've produced over the years. I don't want to give you too much reflection so you can see my room here. But, really, really dope artists. I love them so much that I went to 2 of their concerts. And you get, some of their memorabilia, stuff like this. What's really cool about them is that they're an indie group. They're an indie group, self-funded. I think they're going on maybe 30 years? 2017, I went to their 20th anniversary show. That was wild. First, it was in a park in Tokyo. It started raining. Not just any type of rain. Typhoon. A literal typhoon hit Tokyo at that time. All diehard fans in the audience, bumping to the beats, to the lyrics. And it was wild. Like, you could just see him in his element. He's older. Obviously, he's been doing this a long time. I think at that time he was in his 40s, close to 50. And just the passion that he was rapping with, just, at the same time with the rain, it was like a movie. It was a movie scene. And it was torrential rain. Like, I didn't have an umbrella. But I had that waterproof jacket on, whatever. Not enough. Drenched all the way down to my socks. But I was warm right here in the chest. Sounds corny, but it's true. I felt energized watching this guy. Like, you gotta imagine, like, music is a tough business. Music is a tough business. Even people that you see on huge festivals doing their own shows. Like, I saw some video on Instagram recently about, I forget the name of the artist, but he was getting interviewed and speaking about his Live Nation contract. Live Nation is it's a huge company, let's just call it media company in the music industry. And I think it's owned by, I think his name is, it's either Carl Malone or John Malone, who is the biggest landowner in America. That's how profitable his business is, that he's able to buy up fuck tons of acres in the States. He's the single largest landowner. And this musician on the video is speaking like, we're getting robbed. He was getting robbed for a decade of his career because of the contract he had with Live Nation. Basically, anything he produced, all the profits from the music he produced were getting siphoned back to the publishing company because of the predatory loan he was given, which was framed as an advance. And speaking of advances, a lot of people speak about, you're an author, you love writing, etc. Why don't you try to get published? And a lot of people are unaware, but a lot of published authors have to take on a job to pay for their living because they can't afford the lifestyle. Published authors rely on an advance. The advance is Might seem chunky at first, tens of thousands of dollars, but that is for the lifespan, and it usually takes a year or two from when the contract is signed for the book to be published. So over time, it doesn't really work out in the benefit of the author, especially considering that royalties basically have to get split with the publisher. And so a lot of people turn their nose up at indie authors. Brandon shouldn't have done that. But what they don't understand is that there are more indie authors making a living from their books than published authors. Published authors have to rely on the publisher for their marketing. Indie authors do it themselves. Published authors have to rely on the publisher to connect with their readers. Indie authors connect with the readers directly. But yeah, that's why I respect musicians that basically, look at this, all of this done by themselves. Making the music, burning the DVDs, filming, setting up the events, touring, merchandise, even all of this, the artwork for the album, that is all them. I respect that, and they've been doing it for 30 years now. I'm 32, that's basically how long I've been alive. Oh, welcome, Joey Chin, to the live stream. We're here talking about indie artists. This is my favorite Japanese band. Hip hop, 30 years in the game. The Blue Herb. So 2017, I went to their 20th anniversary. Welcome, Bill, to the show. We're here talking about Japanese artists like the Blue Herbs. 2017, went to their show. Amazing. Typhoon literally came through, drenched to my socks, but still there for the music, for the spirit of what they were doing. And over time, I started to realize, like, that is the type of artist lifestyle that I want for myself, is to make and produce all of the art that is within me, within this circle. Produce and share all of that work. And basically be able to connect directly with listeners and readers just like you. Alright, let's move on to some Japanese art. I'm here with the traditional crafts of Japan map. All of these art, all of these crafts that are on this map. Welcome to the show, RJ Roke. We're here talking about traditional art, traditional crafts of Japan. All of the crafts on this map have been designated by the Japanese government. The official agency that is over this is called the Minister of Economy, Trade, and Industry of Japan. As of 2022, there are 240 officially recognized Japanese crafts that have, the requirements are 100 years of history behind them, as well as people that are still producing and using these crafts. Now, as you can see, these are organized by region. This island right here is called Kyushu. That's where Fukuoka is based. That's where I am right now. This section is, hold on, this section right here, it's because the camera's backward, this section right here is the crafts produced in Fukuoka. You can see Hakata dolls, Hakata ori, Yame chochin, Ageno pottery. All different crafts. This is probably easier. Yeah, there we go. All different crafts produced in Japan. So I have a question. Brandy Kirihara, what is your favorite Japanese art? 一番好きな伝統工芸品は何でしょうか? I would have to say, out of all of these crafts listed here, well, we all know my favorite Japanese craft is no theater mask, because no theater as an art form is intense and like a psychedelic trip. Again, if you want any of these no theater masks, BrandonShin.net, I got you. Well, weirdly enough, the mask is not on this map. Now, I believe that has something to do with the distinction between traditional crafts and there's another genre that is probably like super old, but I think you in Japanese it's Dento Koge and Dento Teki Koge. But it's a traditional craft, it's old, it's older than a lot of these. Anyway, on this map, my favorite Japanese craft, that's tough, that's a tough one, man. Yeah, I think I would have to go with, yeah, I think I would have to go with the Hakata dolls. I would have to go with Hakata dolls. Hakata dolls right there. Hakata dolls right there. Because they represent different pieces of Japanese culture that you typically don't come into contact with on a daily basis. So women wearing kimono, actually I can show you. Women wearing kimono, sometimes you got no theater actors like this as dolls. You got older gentlemen, children, all aspects of life from ancient Japan that you don't normally see. One second, let me bring the Hakata doll over. You also have kabuki. Yeah, here's one I haven't shown before. This is a Hakata doll. Yeah, as I was just showing you on the map, this is probably one of my favorite Japanese crafts after no theater mask because of the intricacy. Look at all of the details. Oi! Also, this is produced with the same materials as pottery. So it's clay, but you can't even tell. Like, look at the folds in the kimono. Amazing. So yes, Hakata dolls. Let's put that right here. It's funny that she's actually kneeling. She's kneeling in Seiza pose right now. Amazing. So real quick swig of water. Ish. But yeah, Randy, what is your favorite, or first, are you Japanese? Your last name sounds Japanese. Kirihara. Kirihara-san. Andy-san. Andy-san, 会ったことありますか? Have I met you before, Randy? I'm curious. That is the map. Japanese traditional map of the official crafts by the government. Hi. Randy says, hi. あれ桐原さん、どこで会いましたか? もしかしたら、北海道 Hoshino Resort. So for the people that are not aware, I used to work at a very popular hotel resort chain in Hokkaido. It is called Hoshino Resorts. If you spent any time in Japan going skiing, etc., you would know about this hotel chain. I worked in the reservation center. I was the only Westerner working at the time. All other Asians, of course Japanese people, of course Chinese people, and some Koreans and other Southeast Asian people. But I was the only Westerner. Welcome, Hiro-san. Hiro-san is from Osaka. Randy says, Sansei, born in the US. Nice. Randy, what state do you live in? What is up, Manny? Long time. Randy says, Sansei, born in the US. So Sansei is like third generation. But born in the US, he says, MN, I guess that's Minnesota. Nice. Have you spent any time in Japan? So yeah, Hokkaido, I worked at Hoshino Resorts for it was about 6 months. I just loved Hokkaido so much. That's why I was speaking about my favorite Japanese musicians, who are from Hokkaido. Randy says, grandparents are from Kagoshima and Kochi. Yeah, that's a nice mix. First, Kochiken is famous for katsuo no tataki. That is actually my favorite Japanese meal. Katsuo no tataki. It is, I think it's called skipjack tuna. What's special about katsuo no tataki is that it's burned or grilled on the outside, but the middle stays raw, or like sashimi. immaculate. Amazing! Katsu no tataki. Have you eaten katsu no tataki before, Randy? Kagoshima, actually, a lot of people compare the south of Kyushu. Kagoshima's in the bottom. I can actually show you on this map. So, Randy says his grandparents are from Kagoshima. So, make sure I point it out right. Kagoshima is the bottom part of this Kyushu island. See here, Satsuma pottery, etc. Whereas Kochi Prefecture, Randy said, nope. You gotta taste katsu no tataki for your grandparents. Celebration for your grandparents. Welcome off Broadway. Oh, Randy. So, Randy, what has been your experience growing up as a sansei? Sansei in the US. What has been your experience? Did people accept you? Did you have a hard time assimilating to the culture? Oh, Randy says you've been to Kagoshima twice, but you've never been to Kochi Prefecture. All right. Yeah. Yeah, Kagoshima is, a lot of people compare it to Hokkaido because it's very varied in the culture. There's a strong sense of, oh, I'm from Kagoshima. Oh, I'm from Hokkaido. Also, people's faces. People from Hokkaido, some are related to the Ainu, with the natives that lived there before the Japanese people came up and said, this is our land, have very strong features. Same with people in Kagoshima. They got strong features. So a lot of people will compare the two. Also, hairy. A lot of people in Hokkaido are hairy. I've met some people from Kagoshima that got strong features in their face. When I say strong features, it's like not the typical like East Asian, like everything's thin and very pale white skin, like this no theater mask that I 3D printed. Rather, it's darker skin tones, broader features, etc. Yeah, Randy. So what has been, if you're comfortable sharing, what has been your experience growing up sansei in America? There are a lot of second, third generation Japanese people out in Hawaii, or even California. In those states, I would assume people are more welcoming and accepting of people, of those second, third generation Japanese people. But if you go to like states, Midwest, etc., my assumption, they always say you shouldn't assume, but my assumption is that you're not as accepted because there aren't many Asians there. And so if you're growing up in mostly white spaces, people might be very taken back and create distance or, worst case scenario, bullying. But yeah, I grew up in Florida. I don't think I ever met second, third generation Japanese people. So that's pretty cool, Randy. I appreciate you sharing that with me. All right, we're coming on to the halfway mark. And of course, you know what that means. Time to talk about some no theater and the books that I write. I went to a special workshop out in Hiroshima. It was actually on the island of Miyajima, which has a super famous shrine called Itsukushima Jinja. Itsukushima Shrine. Now, if you've ever traveled to Japan or even looked at different tour guides for coming to Japan, you will see that there is a red gates that are stuck in the ocean. That is Miyajima. That is Itsukushima Shrine. That was to welcome the gods to the pure island of Itsukushima, or Miyajima. Now, I was invited to a special workshop on this island for No Theater. It was a group of different Japan residents that are foreigners, right? Foreign residents of Japan. To get our basically get our honest opinions on how no should be presented to other foreigners. And so they made this cool little guide about the 700-year-old art form that is no. Right? All in English. Now, of course, you might be saying, oh yeah, no theater, it's 700 years old, they wear these weird masks. I have this little one here too. They wear these weird little masks. And they slide around on stage humming weird songs. Ooh, ooh. It sounds like you're in a church, basically. But it's been around for 700 years for a reason. Right? It tells deep stories of human nature combined with weird stories from mythology. Intangible cultural heritage, officially designated by UNESCO. I think that was probably 2001 or something like that. And even still today, there are books being printed and published in Japan about no theater, about how to enjoy it, how to understand it, because the language is so archaic, classical. Actually, we have a Sansei person in the chat. Randy, can you speak Japanese? Were you taught Japanese as a child? Yeah, most people born and raised in Japan cannot understand no without manuals like this. I interviewed an artisan that carves no mask out in Osaka. Randy says, very little. Okay. Yeah, I think that's pretty typical. Most second, third generation people raised in different countries, they gotta fight hard to learn the native language of that country so that they can do what their parents or grandparents were not able to. But he says, but lots of exposure to Japanese culture. I respect that. That is so important, I think. A lot of, but there are some immigrants that completely do away with their cultural background out of shame. So the fact that you're still rocking it looks like you're wearing a kimono in your picture. Where was your profile picture taken? And are you wearing a kimono? He says, not many Japanese here in Minnesota. Yeah, I can that expected. Yeah, if you don't mind me asking, where was your profile picture taken? Looks like you're wearing a kimono. Oh, so you were actually in Miyajima. So the island I was just talking about, literally Miyajima. Randy was here in Hiroshima on Miyajima Island. 1982. Wow, 1982. Amazing. What was your what was your impression of Miyajima? What type of experience did you have there? So, yeah, as I was saying, the Japanese people born and raised here a long time, that's all. People that just speak Japanese still need manuals like this to understand no theater because it's so archaic. Language is archaic. It's tough to understand the situations because a lot of those situations are from past history. So Randy says, paradise, so peaceful. Yeah. Well, yeah, the time I went, there was a lot of tourists there. Obviously, I'm a tourist as well. I go to another prefecture in Japan, but it was peaceful, and it's like you can actually feel the energy in the air. Like this is an old place. People basically purified themselves there, praying, giving respect to nature. Amazing. 1982, that's crazy. So, Randy, if you had a chance, or maybe you're already planning, but next time you come to Japan, like, what is one experience you say that I must have, I must do? There's something I can't miss this time. If you had another chance to come to Japan, or if you do plan on coming back, one experience that you just say, I gotta have. Yeah, in this book, you can see that they explain the different styles, different fashion in no theater that you must understand to fully appreciate no. Randy says, love arts and crafts. Love arts and crafts. Okay, so are you looking to do like a craft experience, like a workshop, or what type of arts and crafts? Also, 1 second, I need to bring something. Hey, and we're back. Just had to grab something. Here, Randy says fabrics. So like textiles. Fabrics, prints. All right. What type of I think fabrics, people that are interested in textiles or fabrics are pretty rare, I would say. Most people that enjoy Japanese art is more about like pottery, all of this stuff, but fabrics, like what type of fabrics? Are we talking kimono, or do you want like some type of like something you can put on the wall? Yeah, you're talking about prints, woodblock, like ukiyo-e, woodblock prints. Yeah, woodblock prints are amazing. If you're interested in to see the entire process of how woodblock prints are made, go to my YouTube channel. I have it's like a 30 to 40 minute documentary that I filmed in Tokyo with some of the last really official ukiyo-e woodblock printers. That's all they do. That's literally all they do. They don't even have a cell phone. Let me tell you how intense. They don't have a cell phone, which is crazy. Yeah, I appreciate you, Randy. They don't have a cell phone to contact. Actually, let me see if I can actually post my channel here. There's my YouTube channel. Just go into the videos and you'll see it. But yeah, and of course I offer them on my website as well, brandonching.net. You can check out. I don't have a huge range of different prints, but there are a few different models there. And one of them is like a waterfall, another one is a beautiful woman, etc. But woodblock prints, like, when did you get into Japanese art? Or I shouldn't ask that because you are Japanese. But when did you realize you were interested in arts and crafts? Yeah, I would say the first time I realized I was interested in art like no theater is probably 2012, and I've told this story on live before, but for the people watching the replay right now, and for you, Randy, it is, yeah, it was a movie. It was a very special movie called The Transient Life. Randy says he got into arts and crafts many years ago. Yeah, and it's so cool that you keep that passion up. You know, I feel like arts like this really connect us to ourselves. Allows us to do that self-reflection, etc. Why do you think art is important? Or what is important? Why is art important to you, Randy? But the first time I met No Theater, 2012, I watched a movie called The Transient Life, which is about this young Japanese fella in Kyoto, and it's black and white. It's an art house film, very artsy, the way they filmed angles and stuff like that. It was cool. But, and also very strange. But there was a super weird scene where the Japanese guy is, again, trying to challenge all of his notions and thoughts about how society should be run. And I don't want to give too much away, but he's wearing a mask. He's wearing a no mask that he got as a gift from his father. And that scene, while very weird, and I do not condone the behavior in that scene, the mask left an impression on me because it was dark, black and white. Again, the angles that they were filming at, angles are super important for no mask because it conveys different emotions like this, up, down. The way the actors move on stage with the mask on tells you what they're feeling. And I saw that and I was like, I was just taken aback. I'm like, first of all, what is this? After I saw the movie, researched, oh, no theater. Oh, they have a play in Tokyo. Bought a ticket, went to the play, and I was transported to another world. It was like I was tripping on psychedelics. And ever since then, I've just been following up, watching all the different plays. Now, over 10 years later, I offer the actual mask made by an artisan who's been practicing for 60 years, making masks for real actors on the No Theater stage. Now, if you want one, again, brandonching.net, but they do retail for $5,000 US. And for most people, that is what? But you gotta understand, this guy makes masks for actual practicing living legends on the stage today of this 700-year-old art form that is designated as intangible cultural treasure by UNESCO, internationally recognized, hugely respected in Japan. Still books being published today for modern Japanese people to understand what the art form is about, etc. Stuff like that. Welcome Visinas to the show. Vikas Tiwari. That is what we're talking about. Japanese art in my books. And so, of course, I can't let my love for Noh theater stay secluded to the masks themselves. And so I write about them in my books that are also on brandonshin.net, especially my most recent book printed on washi paper from Tottori Prefecture. This is called Yokai Shadows. And as you can see, no masks like this are worn by the antagonist in the story. So what is this book about? This is a fantasy romance novel based in Japan with elements from Noh theater and elements from yokai or mythological beasts from Japanese folklore combined into a story where two people fall in love. Yuki, Japanese woman that carves masks. Kwame, Ghanaian man that collects and sells traditional Japanese crafts to wealthy clients on the African continent. Meet to protect the legacy of Noh theater and traditional Japanese crafts from this monstrosity known as the kappa, which is a river demon in Japanese mythology, except doesn't look like a kappa at all, especially if you're familiar with that. Actually, Randy, are you familiar with Japanese yokai? When you think of Japanese yokai, what is the first yokai that comes to your mind? Yeah, this doesn't look like a kappa at all, except it's wearing a mask. And the reason why is because it's wearing a Noh mask. Basically, the kappa is trying to protect her natural world from human creativity. The way she thinks she can do this is to destroy Noh theater or human creativity in itself. Welcome, Fukuda Mayumi-san. Brandy says, not much. Yeah, it's true. A lot of people are not very familiar with Japanese yokai. A lot of the native Japanese people that I speak to about yokai are like, what? Why are you interested in that? Those are like kids' stories when I was younger. But it tells you about how Japanese people thought about and processed the world around them at the time. That's why I'm very interested in stuff like that. And humans are storytellers. Everything we think and do is through the lens of story. And so that's why I took all these different elements to combine into one story. Now, of course, it is shorter. We have Kubo-san, welcome to the show. We're here talking about books and art from Japan. And fantasy romance, so international romance with a yokai battling it out with two creators that are trying to protect human creativity. I do plan on continuing this series, although this one is shorter. And the fact that it's printed on washi paper, I have realized one of my dream goals. All those scrolls, ancient scrolls you see from China and Japan are printed on some form of washi. This washi paper is from Tottori Prefecture. Soft to the touch, but still durable. Actually, Randy was saying he likes woodblock prints. Woodblock prints are printed on washi paper. It is durable, it feels good, has natural smell to it. Although this has lost its smell because I've been waving it around on all these live shows talking about all this stuff like this. But yeah, washed paper if you want this first book in the series, BrandonShin.net. And the next edition that comes out with that is going to have different art inside the book, so that I can help you visualize what the story looks like. This. Randy says, do you know David Bull? I do not. Who is David Bull? I got different books on there. I also have an 800-page anthology. 12 separate books in one series that you can buy as an ebook collection or hardcover. It's called the Ultimate Japan Book Bundle, and you can get it for 50% off right now. Randy says he owns a woodblock shop in Asakusa. Oh, yeah. Actually, now that you mention it, I did see a Kickstarter campaign, a successful Kickstarter campaign of a white guy that was working as a woodblock artisan in Tokyo. I'm wondering if this is him. And he was running like workshops where he taught young Japanese people how to make woodblock prints. Maybe this is him. I don't know if you've ever seen his Kickstarter, Randy, but you say he's a Canadian artisan. Super interesting. Yeah, it's probably him. It must be, because I don't think there are many white guys in Tokyo making woodblock prints. So, have you ordered any of his woodblock prints? Like, what type of style would you say they are? That's crazy. That reminds me of I think it's an Italian guy that is based in Fukuoka, who plays the biwa instrument, which is like a guitar basically. But he's like the leading biwa artisan and player, and he teaches Japanese people how to take care of it, play it, etc. And it's funny that foreigners have to come in and do that, but it is what it is. He said he's trying to keep this art alive. Exactly. That is exactly what this biwa musician is doing in Fukuoka, which is insane. I've actually considered making no masks, although this is 3D printed. I've actually considered carving no masks as part of my business, but also to understand and appreciate the art from a deeper angle. And there are classes that teach the art of carving these masks, and they also have instructions inside books where you can learn how to carve the mask, right? All of this, which is amazing, because there's not a lot of demand around these traditional arts. Randy says his shop is called Moku Hanken. I gotta go there next time I'm in Tokyo, actually. Moku Hanken. Thank you, Randy. Arigatou gozaimasu. So I'm assuming you've been to his shop. First question, how did you find out about him? But yeah, there's not a lot of demand for traditional Japanese crafts. And it's becoming a serious issue in Japan because all this history, all this culturally embedded objects in art is at risk of dying out because the population is declining. A lot of the very innovative people in Japan are moving to other countries for more opportunity. It's a dire situation. So Randy says, your wife follows him. Interesting. Moku Hanken. Does he follows him on Instagram or what? Okay, so Randy says, time for bed. Sayonara. 聞いていただいてありがとうございました. Thank you for joining the live show. I do these lives every day for about an hour or so. I'm coming up on 5 minutes, but 5 minutes left, but I appreciate you for joining. Thank you. I will definitely check out, what was his name again? David Bull. Yeah, I'll tell people as well, for people that are in Tokyo and you're looking for okay, so he's on Instagram and he also has a YouTube channel. I appreciate you. For the people that are interested in seeing basically how these traditional art forms are kept alive, go check out David Bull, as recommended by Randy Kirihara-san. Welcome, Nicola, to the show. We're here talking about Japanese art. And my books that are available on brandonshin.net contains different pieces of Japanese culture and art that I have been exploring over, coming up in August, my decade here in Japan. And like we were speaking about with David Bull, apparently a Canadian artisan that has taken up the reins to keep ukiyo-e woodblock prints alive in Tokyo. I too aim to keep no theater and other arts like it alive with my writing. This is just a sample, which is why it's so thin. But yes, using different elements, you can even see the word shokunin is printed across the top of this because shokunin is artisan in Japan. That is the goal. Shokunin. That's why I named my Japanese company Shokunin Mode. I like to think about when I go into that creative flow space, when I'm trying to go into that creative flow space, I want to think from the position of a shokunin, an artisan, someone that dedicates all of their energy and all of their skills and all of their passion into the work at hand. That's the goal. That's what I aim to do. Again, I appreciate everybody for joining the live show. If you're interested in seeing longer documentaries, go to my YouTube channel at Raw Japan Art. If you search with the @ sign at Raw Japan Art, it should pop up. You can also type in Brandon Chin and you will see 30-minute to 1 hour, sometimes 2-hour documentary videos on my channel. If you're interested in more the day-to-day of how I spend my time in Japan, and also the inspiration, stories, experience, encounters that I use to write my books, check out my Instagram or TikTok, Brandon Chin Books. Brandon Chin Books on TikTok. Brandon Chin Author on Instagram. Appreciate you guys. See you on the next live show. This was the 10th. The goal is 100 before I stop and think of a different type of format. Stay for the consistent